Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Mayor and City Council meeting, the second meeting on Monday, December 8th, 2025 to order at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Clerk.
Here.
Councilman Mills.
Here.
Councilman Cole.
Here.
Councilman Simmons.
Here.
President Smith.
Here.
Mayor Sidnor.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next agenda item is the approval of minutes. We have November 24th, 2025, the 43rd regular meeting, November 24th, 2025, the first regular meeting, and December 3rd, 2025, the work session. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion, Mr. President, to approve the minutes, November 24th and December 3rd.
Thank you, Councilman Mills. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Thank you, Councilman Simmons. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Mills.
Yes.
Councilman Simmons.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Cole.
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Fourth agenda item is the report of the Mayor and City Council. I will start with Councilman Mills.
Thank you, Mr. President. So mine will be short and brief. I'm actually just getting off the airplane. I was at in Texas. I went to a learning more about main streets in Texas, and so I went on a tour in Austin. Did a little traveling. It was in Austin and in San Antonio, and they actually had what we would call Main Street Festival. This was in Austin. Very nice, actually. They had like their our Main Street Festival at night amongst the lights. I mean, the main street was lit up. The vendors were all outside. Plenty of hot coffee and cocoa, and the temperature was kind of not as cold as it is today, but it was very nice. All the stores were open, just like how we would do. But they had it. It was like a Main Street Festival at nighttime, and it was just like ours, but it was more. You know, it was like just all the lights, and it was very nice, and so very nice place to visit. Trying to just kind of do a little tour throughout the states, just to kind of, stop talking about what can we do for Main Street Festival without actually trying to come up with some actual solutions. So that's my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Councilman Mills. Next we'll have Councilwoman Clark.
Thank you, President Smith. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful holiday this past week. If you celebrate, that you had time to rest, recharge, and enjoy the company of the people that you love. This weekend, it was wonderful seeing so many of you at the Breakfast with Santa and our tree lighting at the Armory Community Center with Senator Rosa Pepp. It's really magical, of course, watching the tree being lit, but also just seeing the kids' faces lighting almost brighter than the tree itself. In addition, it was great seeing Delegate Mary Lehman at our multi-service center on Sunday. I want to take a moment to congratulate our very own District 21 delegate, Jocelyn Pena-Melnick, who is currently being considered as the new Speaker of the Maryland House of Delegates. It's an incredible honor for her and for our district. I am so proud to have her representing us, and I will be cheering her on as this process unfolds. Now, for parents and students, I know this time of year can get a little hectic with the holiday excitement and those end of the semester assignments piling up. The Prince George's County Library System is stepping up to help. They're hosting live free homework help on December 9th, 10th, and 11th at various libraries around the county through the Kids Achieve Club. This is for students in grades 1 through 6, and it's a wonderful resource as we head into the final push before winter break. So if your little ones need a little bit of extra support, please take advantage of this program. Our libraries are such treasures in our community. I also want to share a bit more personal with you tonight as we observed American Indian Heritage Day last month on November 28th. I found myself reflecting on my own family's indigenous roots. Both of my grandfathers carried significant Native heritage, and that connection to my ancestors has always been important to me. This past summer at the Maryland State Fair, I found a beautiful Native ring that represents my culture, which is a meaningful reminder of where I come from and the legacy my grandfathers passed down to me. It's really important for our children as well, that they see reflected in the celebrations and recognitions of our cities, because when our kids understand that their heritage matters, that their stories are a part of our shared story, and it builds confidence and belonging for them. Speaking of which, I'm pleased to share that the Multicultural Advisory Committee, which I have the honor of chairing, has submitted a memorandum to the mayor and administration requesting that we officially acknowledge American Indian Heritage Day, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. Our committee believes that recognizing the diverse traditions and celebrations that make up our Laurel community is essential as a city and who we are. So as we move deeper into this holiday season, I'm just wishing everyone in our community moments of joy, connection, and peace. Whether you're in the middle of celebrations or just taking a deserved break, I hope that these weeks bring you warmth and renewal. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you. That now concludes my report. President Smith.
Thank you, Councilwoman Clark. Next, we'll have Councilman Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. And as Councilwoman Clark shared, it was a great joy to be with so many in the city at the for the holiday parade and the Armory illumination on Saturday. I wanted to thank all the folks that were part of the parade. I thought it was a really great showing. We had the American Legion Color Guard and riders were there, the St. Vincent Pallotti Marching Band. And as I said to them directly, I really think it makes a difference when we have a marching band in our parade. It makes it a lot of fun. There was a Girl Scout troop, the American Heritage Girls troop. There's some families with kids dressed up as angels we have heard on high, which is cool. And there, hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but I just wanted to be sure to thank those groups and also let folks know, like if your community group or you even as a family want to come out and be part of the parade, it is always a great pleasure to see folks get involved, and it makes that parade a lot of fun to watch. So I just wanted to encourage folks as we have different parades like July 4th or the various other holidays throughout the year to sort of don't hesitate to reach out and to be thinking about, hey, how might your church group or your community group, et cetera, sort of show up and be seen and help get some, raise your profile for folks who might want to connect. Thank you also to Parks and Rec, Emergency Ops, and Laurel Police for their support of that. Two Parks and Rec trips that are coming up for folks who are maybe looking for something to do as we're entering into the holiday season. Know that the teens are going to the Symphony of Lights up at Meriwether Post on this Friday, the 12th. And again, that's organized by Laurel Parks and Rec. So if you have a teen that would like to go along, definitely check out that activity on the Parks and Rec website. And for adults, a little later, I think it's next week, they're going to be a adult trip up to Baltimore. There's the Miracle on 34th Street, which is one of those super decorated streets. I've been up there once myself. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it before, I recommend. So please tap into some of those fun trips our Park and Rec has. Two other items of note there for activities. This Saturday is the Las Posadas celebration. And for those who may not be familiar, Posada is the Spanish word for inn. And it's a Latin American tradition celebrating the 9 days leading up to Christmas Eve, when Mary and Joseph were looking for an inn for the Nativity. So it's going to be at the House of Restoration Church on Prince George Street this Saturday from 4 to 7. Delicious food, music, piñatas, and other celebrations going on. So check that out. And also the Laurel Historical Society house tour is coming up this weekend as well on Saturday, December 13th. For $30, you'll be able to see many of the beautifully decorated historic homes and churches and buildings around our town. So that's a great sort of get out, see something new. Lastly, what would the season be without also having a chance to give? And I wanted to encourage folks to look into the Fill a Truck campaign that's being sponsored by many of the local businesses, nonprofits around town, where you can drop off toys or gift certificates at the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department or Rescue Squad between now and December 20th. So you can find out more information on their websites. But, participating in the spirit of the season, it's truly a gift, the greatest gift to give. Thank you, Mr. President. Back to you.
Councilman Simmons. Councilman Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. On November 27th, I participated in the LARS Race Against Hunger and Homelessness, also known as the Turkey Trot. It was a little chilly that morning, but it was one of the largest races that LARS has ever hosted with over 800 participants. I did not run, but I did walk and was able to complete it. It was just great to see everyone out there in the morning getting ready before they went off to their family celebrations. Just be thankful for all that we do have. Following that, on Saturday, November 29th, I attended Small Business Saturday. Thank you to all the ECD staff that were out there. Very cold. I was happy to see they had electric heaters, but it was a chilly morning for anyone that was braving the cold to go out and shop locally that Saturday. This past Thursday, the 4th, I met with Parks and Recreation and Hearts Incorporated to discuss more details for the mobile vet clinic that will be coming to Laurel. We are excited that that will be in a pilot program later this month with a community animal rescue group. We're going to work out the kinks. Hopefully by January, we'll be able to open that clinic to members of the public that they will be able to get low-cost spay and neuter services. As with other council members, this past Saturday, I was able to attend Breakfast with Santa and the holiday tree lighting and parade from Parks and Recreation. It was always gorgeous seeing all the decorations. I like to see all the new stuff that they do every year, and I'm excited that we can continue that tradition. This past Saturday or Sunday, just yesterday, I attended the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department Auxiliary Breakfast. A reminder for those that did not make it yesterday, the next one will be January 4th. They start at 8:30 in the morning and go through 11 in the morning. This coming Saturday will also be Wreaths Across America at 11 a.m. at Ivy Hill Cemetery. It starts at City Hall and we walk across the street with wreaths. Look forward to seeing everyone there. It is going to be cold. There's a chance of snow, so please bundle up. Next week, we have our final committee meeting of the year for the Laurel Pride Day Planning Committee. We will be meeting 6:30 p.m. virtually. For those that would like to attend, please email the clerk for a link. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Cole. And I'll go on to the mayor after. I'm happy to be back. Thank you to everyone. I enjoyed my time with my family during the holiday in Connecticut, where I'm from. And I hope everyone got to enjoy some time with their loved ones as well. I want to thank Parks and Rec, like everyone else, for the holiday parade and all the staff for all they've done to make sure that happens and all the participants. And I also want to echo Councilman Clark with congratulating Delegate Penna Melnick about her path to the speakership in the House. That's going to be historic and it's going to be great. Our own representative having our own connection there and you know, just making Laurel stronger and hoping that we make our city a greater place and just with our relationships in that seat. So I will conclude my report and I'll move on to Mayor Sidnor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone have a happy holiday as well. On December the 2nd through the 4th, I attended a conference in New Orleans, Jewish anti-Semitism. The conference was teaching about how to recognize anti-Semitism. And also December the 14th through December the 2nd is Hanukkah, Festival of Lights for the Jewish community. The past several years, a Jewish community from Columbia will come out to Emancipation Park and they will light the menorah. They haven't contacted us this year, but when they contact us, we'll support them 100%. So we're looking forward to that. I want to thank Shiny Studios. This weekend, they provide holiday portraits for our community. 100 people showed up. They got a free portrait, a digital portrait. And so I'm really thankful for this partnership and doing that for our community. Also want to congratulate Local 24. Local 24 is our installator unit right here on Montgomery Street. And ever since I was a councilman, I've been working with Local 24 about their pre-apprenticeship program. The pre-apprenticeship program is a 3-week program to get individuals an idea of what about the labor union trade jobs are. And so this weekend, 4 members completed a 4-year apprenticeship program. So that's great to know. And now the pre-apprenticeship program is now 6 weeks long. And so therefore, if any individual looking for a job, Local 24 will train you to be an insulator. All you got to be is 18 years old, and they'll train you from there. Have a willing to be an insulator. You do not need a high school diploma, nor a GED. They'll take you right off the street. They'll train you up as long as you got the ability to learn and wants to be an insulator. So please check out Local 24 right down Montgomery Street. If you're looking for a job and try to be an insulator. Want to make a couple of announcements. Some already made these announcements already. Reef Across America once again be this Saturday. Thank you, Councilman Coles, for putting that out. Kwanzaa is celebrated. We have Dr. Warburn, her and her husband. They do that for us for the past 2 years. They'll be doing Kwanzaa for us on December 27th at Multi-Service Center. A flyer will be coming out soon. I'll be meeting with Dr. Warburn sometime this week to confirm all the final things for Kwanzaa. And one more thing, and I'll be finished, Mr. President. And Army-Navy game this Saturday. Army-Navy game. Been going on for a long time. I'm a proud Navy man. So all my Navy veterans, tune in your TV at 3:15 and watch the Navy bring home the championship game again. Looking forward, bragging rights after the game to all my Army buddies. Let them know that we won the game. So with that, Mr. President, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Next agenda item is the general public hearing. And I will open the public hearing at 6:15 p.m. We have 3 people I've seen signed up to speak, but they're looking to speak on item number 6. So I'll reach out, and Madam Clerk, there's no one else that signed up since we started this meeting.
No, not for the general public hearing portion.
All right. So I will close the public hearing at 6:16 p.m. And I will move on to item number 6, which is introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 2052, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of Laurel, Maryland, to amend Laurel City Code, Chapter 11, Planning and Development, Article 3, Affordable Housing Program, Section 11-53, for sale affordable housing, to update and supplement the for sale housing requirements and providing for an effective date. Presenter is Director Jay Mishi. You have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, and members of the council. Before you is ordinance number 2052, as required by the City of Laurel Code, providing legislation to amend the City Code, Chapter 11, Planning and Development, Article 3, Affordable Housing Program, Section 11-53, for sale affordable housing. This proposed ordinance will update the code in meaningful ways that will benefit our community and future residents. Updates include reducing from 50 to 20 the number of dwellings required to trigger this section, thereby ensuring that smaller residential developments are doing their fair share of the work to make affordable housing available in Laurel. Clarifying that the 8% of dwellings required to be affordable will be rounded up rather than down if 8% is a fraction. For instance, in a development of 20 houses, 8% is 1.6 houses, and the developer is obligated to have 2 affordable homes rather than being able to round down and offer only 1 unit. Amending who is eligible to purchase affordable homes from people whose income does not exceed 60% of the Prince George's County area median income to people whose income is in a range from 50% to 70% of area median income for the Washington, Arlington, Alexandria statistical area, as determined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's annual Income Limits Documentation System. This means that a 4-person family is eligible in 2025 if their annual income is between $81,950 and $114,730 per year. These figures are typically available on April 1st, so the income limits can be thought of as working on an April through March year. The source of data is changed from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. Providing additional specificity in the pricing relationship between affordable dwelling units and market rate units. Empowering the city's Department of Economic and Community Development to approve such pricing arrangements, and encoding a plain English example. Oh, I just lost my place. I apologize. Adding language regulating how affordable dwelling units are positioned throughout the development to ensure that there isn't a quote-unquote low-income neighborhood within the development. This language also means that a developer or HOA can't purposely neglect affordable dwelling residents by offering different or lesser service to a particular street or area. Requiring that all affordable units must be at least 80% of the size of the smallest base model within the same development, and preventing developers from assigning affordable units to small or unusually shaped lots. The Planning Commission has the authority to determine the issue of lot shape and size. stipulating that affordable dwelling units be similar in architecture, materials, colors, and other external features, so they're virtually, visually indistinguishable from market rate units, ensuring that the number of bedrooms and bathrooms is no less than the number of bedrooms and bathrooms in the smallest base model of market units, and that residents of affordable units have full and equal access to all amenities. Changing from dwelling units being affordable in perpetuity to being affordable for a term of 30 years, and limiting the sale price for any listed affordable units to the purchase price plus an adjustment for inflation subsequent to the purchase date. Regulating the pace at which affordable units must be ready for use and occupancy relative to the pace at which market rate units are. Clarifying the property owner's obligation for recording covenants, including any age restrictions. And finally, prohibiting refinancing of an affordable unit for an amount greater than the amount originally borrowed for its purchase, which must also be recorded among the covenants. If there are any questions regarding the proposed ordinance, legal representation is available to discuss.
Sorry. We'll open the public hearing on this at 6:21 p.m. We have 3 people signed up to speak, so before I go to comments from the council, I will go on to those who are signed up to speak. First, we have Edward C. Gibbs, Jr. Are you here? Mr. Gibbs,
Yes, I'm here, if you can hear me.
please state your address and
Yes.
your
I'm
name and address
happy
for
to
the
put
record.
Yeah, I'm happy to put my video on, but I don't see an icon that allows that. But in any event, yes, good evening. Edward Gibbs, an attorney with offices in Largo, Maryland. And I'm pleased to be here before this distinguished body this evening. Appreciate the opportunity to provide
Excuse
some
me, sir.
comments.
Sorry. Is there a way to turn your volume up, or
Pardon?
you're just a little low? Is there a way to turn your volume up or speak a little louder, if possible?
I can speak a little louder. There doesn't appear to be an icon here for me to increase the volume. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can hear you. You can go on.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Yes, once again, Edward Gibbs, an attorney with offices in Largo. I'm here this evening representing Pulte Homes. And we have a project that we've been working on for some time in the city. It's called Corridor Center, northeast quadrant of the intersection of I-95 and Maryland 198. It has been through numerous approvals. We have gotten a conceptual site plan approved, a preliminary subdivision plan approved, and a final site plan approved, all through the appropriate bodies in the city. It's for a total of 293 units. We proposed as part of that project affordable units. And in point of fact, when we went to our final site plan, we had information concerning the exact sale prices of the various units. Those sale prices were included as findings of fact in our final site plan resolution, approving the final site plan. And in the conditions, they are referenced as 20 affordable units that we have proffered and which we believe were approved. They will not meet the criteria set forth in the proposed new ordinance. So we are initially requesting that, given the length of time that we have, that Pulte Home has expended in getting to this point in the process, securing approval of all their entitlements, we would ask that case be grandfathered and that there be language added to the bill, because at no time were we ever advised of these changes coming forward. In fact, we were actually requested during the process to assist in providing information about an affordable for sale program in the city. This new legislation, if it applies to this project, will certainly severely prejudice the ability of the project to go forward. And that is information received from my client as of this afternoon. So that's a real problem for us, and we would ask for that project to be grandfathered. As to the bill itself, I think that subparagraphs D through K are all very good. neither my client nor I found any problem with any of those. Paragraphs A, B, and C, we think do create problems, particularly when compared to affordable for sale programs in other jurisdictions. And just as an example, my client advises me that the AMI in Prince George's County is $100,000. And so if you take 50% of that, that's $50,000. If you then take federal and state taxes out, that's $15,000, leaving you $35,000. And meeting issues such as HOA dues, state and federal taxes, real estate taxes, utilities. It makes it very, very difficult for a household of that level to be able to meet the required payments they're going to make and still be sustainable in the unit. My client has substantial experience in providing affordable for sale units in every jurisdiction where it works, and would be very, very happy to continue working with the city to help try to fashion some amendments to the proposal to make it what my client believes would be more workable beyond what it is today. My client wanted me to emphasize they're 100% in support of affordable units. They proposed affordable units on their own from the very first day in this project. So with that being said, I just would ask that we give ourselves a little more time to work on this and for grandfathering language to be placed on the bill, that if you have secured this level of entitlements, the bill would not apply to you. Simply because you expended so much effort and financial outlay to get to this point before this bill came forward. Thank you very much for considering my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Second, we have David DeMarco from Pulte Homes.
That is my client, sir, and
okay,
I do not believe that he made it onto the call.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. So third, we have Arthur Horn.
I just gave Mr. Horn to talk.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You have just state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President, members of the council, Mr. Mayor. For the record, my name is Arthur Horn with a law firm of Shippion Horn in Largo, Maryland. Here representing Stanley Martin Homes and this project 14251 and 14275 Park Drive. Similar to Mr. Gibbs, client Stanley Martin Homes has a project that is recently approved, had a special exception, preliminary plan, site plan, appeared before this council and received approval for all three. Just like to, first of all, thank the City Council for allowing us to come here and just say a few words about the legislation. The concept of providing affordable housing is an action that's enthusiastically undertaken by my client. And they are very familiar with them in the various developments they've done in and around Maryland and in and around the United States. Although my client shares the goals with the city in establishing this venture, there are some wording that's in the legislation that makes the idea of being able to move forward economically impractical and really counterproductive to the city's desire to grow and its overall stability. My client would strongly urge the city of Laurel to reconsider this proposal as currently presented with reference primarily to the financial costs and follow the methods utilized within other jurisdictions within Maryland and elsewhere that align pricing policies with actual development costs and market. By way of an example, for Stanley Martin Homes, currently the project at the Oaks of Laurel, the current market value of the average home was about $424,900. If the legislation as currently drafted is enacted, it would mandate a sale price of a home similar to the one for $424,000, for 127,000, which represents a 70% reduction from both the standard pricing and the prevailing market value. Under that example, by compelling about a $300,000 discount per individual home, it's not economically feasible, and it is not what Stanley Martin has the ability to absorb in a business model that it has utilized. And speaking with the Laurel staff, and when we met, and again, we too volunteered to have these affordable homes in this project, was the client's understanding that there would be a 30% adjustment of the home price of a similar size and not a 70%. I know my time is running short, but I have submitted a letter into the record today, basically giving a breakdown of the various costs and stuff associated with using 500,000 as a marker, and the cost that the developer would have, the home builder has in building the homes, and how that this legislation is a good one. You know, we all support affordable housing, but that it needs to be manageable and consistent with what other jurisdictions do, and not propose a 70% reduction in the price in this case. And I thank you very much for your time this evening.
Mr. Horn, Mayor Sidnor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to thank Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Horn. I remember meeting both of you all. We was talking about this and Mr. Porty when I was a council member. And the goal was Porty did come to us and say they wanted to develop affordable housing into our city. And our goal was to have affordable housing for our workforce, for our first year police officers, our school teachers, somewhere an average income of $60,000 a year to buy a home inside the city of Laurel. That was the premise of this conversation. But the information that we received tonight, Mr. President, I recommend that we continue this hearing so we can talk to our legal to get more information from our legal advice how to go forward with this legislation. We want to do business with you gentlemen. We're really looking forward to that. But I think with this information we received tonight, that we need to just continue the hearing and get some more information. That's what I recommend, Mr. President. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Sidnor. All right. Any comments from the council? Yes, Councilwoman Clerk.
Thank you, President Smith. I support this, the goal of this ordinance, as I mentioned earlier in a written memorandum that I submitted. But I do have several recommendations just to strengthen it, so it actually works for all of our residents. First, I'd like to thank former Councilmember Martin Mitchell and department leads from similarly sized municipalities who were kind enough to share their thoughts and expertise. I do have 4 recommendations. Thank you, Councilmember Simmons, for your reply and response in regards to the number of units. And I do see that it was dropped to 20. I think that dropping it to 20 will include more affordable units, but also for our working families. Second, I recommended that we broaden the income eligibility from instead of 50 to 70% to 30 to 80%. The current range excludes our lowest income residents, including our seniors on Social Security, people with disabilities, and it also excludes teachers, police officers, and city workers who may earn around $80,000, but still cannot afford market rate housing. I think that we need to serve both ends of the spectrum. Third, I recommended that we revise the resale restriction to allow homeowners to recoup documented capital improvements. For example, if a senior invests $25,000 over 10 years into a new roof, an HVAC system, and foundation repairs, they should be able to get that money back when they sell, while still keeping the price cap below market rate to maintain affordability. I think that the current language seems to slightly punish responsible homeowners and may discourage people from maintaining their properties. Fourth, I recommend that we add clear enforcement provisions or a location in the document where that information can be located. It's important that we specify who monitors compliance, what the penalties are for the violations, and require annual reporting to the council so we will know if this program is working. And finally, just as I mentioned previously in the first work session, to be considered for I'm fine with a future amendment, or if we're still discussing this, that we add an affordable housing trust fund as an alternative compliance option. I believe a trust fund would let us partner with nonprofits to create affordable apartments, provide down payment assistance, and make strategic investments where they're needed most, which is something Montgomery County has done successfully. I think that these changes would make the ordinance more equitable, more enforceable, and more effective for our seniors, working families, and veterans who count on us. Thank you, President Smith.
Councilwoman Clerk. Councilman Simmons. I'll go to Councilman Mills after.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, and just to share a couple thoughts. One, I thank the gentleman for sharing their information there this evening. 2 points of clarification for myself, which probably either to follow up with council in general or direct to my offices. I know one gentleman referred to the 50% range, not necessarily being tenable from a being able to support the cost of the home even at the reduced amount. But to my knowledge, that wasn't different than it was before and when the approvals were received. So I was interested to hear that part really wasn't changed. It was previously 60% or less, and so 50% would have already qualified during the legislation passed in 2023. So I was just interested to hear some feedback on that. And again, that might come at a later date. Similarly, one of the other gentlemen referred to sort of the price change of 30%. Again, that was as originally written in 2023 based on my reading, which may be incorrect, but I would be interested to hear sort of maybe how that has evolved. I wasn't on council at the time that legislation was originally passed, but as it exists in our current code, that 30% price is there. So that is not a change to my reading that we're even proposing to change in this document. Two other sort of comments to make. In terms of the AMI range, I do welcome continued conversation on what makes sense. I think on one end, we want to be sure that folks who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford a home can through a price reduction. At the other end of the spectrum, we want to make sure that folks who, there may not be an income level adequate to support the cost of that home, even at the reduced price, don't find themselves backed into a corner. What that right range is, for me, is open for conversation for those who would like to talk about that. I'm also open to revisiting the revision of the resale price raised. I think originally council was going to potentially provide some suggested language from our work session in November. In the absence of that, I sort of put together maybe a quick thought around inflation, but perhaps an updated thought as I was preparing for tonight's meeting is that would be tied more to assessed value. And that might be a simple, quicker way to say, hey, as that property value goes up, that the individual could, when they go to sell, sort of be able to participate in the market appreciation, even though the affordable housing provisions still convey with the property. So just a couple of thoughts to put into mix. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
You, Councilman Simmons. I'll go to Councilman Mills, and then I'll come to you, Councilman Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excuse me. I had a question for either Mr. Horn or Mr. Gibbs. I just wanted to know, as a developer's point of perspective, is it possible to build, mostly we're talking about townhomes today, and is it possible, because a lot of townhomes are $400,000 to $500,000 in that range, almost from East Coast to West Coast. But is it possible to, because they have that set market price pertaining to the development of these communities, of these houses, is it possible to split where you have a $400,000 home and a $200,000 home built within the same community? Has that been done before? Since we're talking the numbers on the flip side, other than the developers, wanting to make money, but we're trying to, really have affordable housing that's going to be, for those who we're trying to help. That's for Mr. Horn or Mr. Gibbs, please.
Thank you, Councilman Mills. Are we able to hear from Mr. Horn? I know they were just speakers, but
Who do you want me to let speak? Mr. Warren?
if they could answer him, if they don't mind. Otherwise, I'll go on to Councilman Cole. All right, Mr. Horn is here.
Yes, good evening again. Councilmember Mills, I know it exists. I would hesitate to specify because I'm not the actual developer except for the builder, and my client would be much better in tune in being able to answer your question about that. But obviously there is a difference in price for a market and a affordable next to each other. But what they're saying is, if you don't want to have a difference in between the two, and my client agrees with that, then you want to be able to have them as similar as possible. But the difference in the price range, as Councilmember Simmons indicated, is the 30%, which I think is workable. But the way it's been interpreted is not 30%; it's 70%. Because again, if it's $500,000 and if it's 30%, the house should be $350,000. But that's not the way at least it seems to read. But I think if that's what we're trying to achieve, then, maybe that can be done. But again, I would defer to the actual builders and stuff. I don't want to make a proclamation here on behalf of any builder, and they can tell you better because, we represent them to come and build, but not the dollars and cents and how it operates. So I apologize. That's the best I can give you an answer.
I appreciate it. But maybe, this council would, and mayor would possibly, and administration would like to maybe have a sit down with the developers to have these questions answered as well. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. President, Mr. Gibbs has his hand up as well. Is it okay to let him speak?
Yes, he can speak, and then I'll go on to Councilman Cole after.
Mr. Gibbs, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, let me say that your question is a very good one, very apt, Councilman Mills. And I too must agree with Mr. Horn relative to not wanting to totally speak for the developer, for our clients, because we are in fact the attorneys and we don't have the dollars and cents, but we can't and we wouldn't want to make the units look any different. That's one of the very, very primary points of this whole process, is that it's not a discernible difference. That being said, and again, I'm speaking as the attorney here and not as the builder, but I would think that there would have to be some reduction in the square footage of the unit, which possibly could be accomplished with putting it in the middle of the stick. And then also by reducing some of the interior amenities within the unit itself, because the exterior finish treatments can't be different. That's the very last thing you would want to do. And what you can bring about in the cost savings, we'd have to rely upon our clients to give you that information. So I think your comment about possibly some conversations with the actual builders here, it would be well taken and something that we could do during the continuance period.
Hey, Mr. Gibbs. Councilman Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. It sounds like this legislation needs some more work and maybe going back to another work session before a second public hearing. But I did have a question tonight. It might not need to be answered from staff or from legal. I would like clarification on the grandfathering of previous applications, as they've already gone through the Planning Commission and received several approvals. I know this legislation would be effective immediately, but I don't know how that would apply to previous applications that have already been approved. My only question. Thank you.
I can answer that, Councilman Cole. We're going to seek legal advice. We do have Mr. Gibbs' site plan. Was approved by the Planning Commission on September 25th. with the prices of the houses that he's mentioned. So that's why I said I recommended earlier, just go ahead and let's continue this to other hearings to get more information. So instead of answering that question on public record, we're going to talk to our legal advice, and then we're going to come back. But Mr. Gibbs is correct. He do have a site plan. I have a copy of that site plan, that the houses that the prices range that was agreed upon at the planning commission. So, you know, so we're just not going to answer the public record, but we will talk to our lawyers and get back with Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Horn to go further with them process.
Thank you, sir.
Very welcome.
All right. Any other comments from the council? So let me see how we're looking. All right, well, I will close the public hearing at 6:45 p.m. And it's looking like, does it look like are we moving this to a work session, or are you guys actually trying to move this to the public hearing, to a second public hearing with amendments?
Councilman President, it'll be continued with the second public hearing with amendments.
With amendments.
So everything that Councilman Clark and she mentioned,
Okay.
you know, you guys can put it into legislation, you know, and
Okay.
and we'll present it. And then, but we'll get with our legal lawyers to talk about Mr. Horn and Mr. Gibbs.
Okay.
Mr. Gibbs do have a site plan approved by the planning commission. We do not have a site plan approved by Mr. Horn, but we do have something approved by Mr. Gibbs. But we will talk like I said before,
Okay.
How to go forward.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, well, we'll move this to the next meeting on Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in person. Our next.
Mr. President, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So I just want to clarify. So Mayor, our next meeting is scheduled for a week from today on December 15th. So are we still leaving this on for the second? Is that enough time to?
Yeah, I don't think we can still leave it on, Madam Clerk. We don't have to approve it. We just continue it, you know, even though our charter say 2 public hearings, but we can extend it to another.
Have more, right? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
we get the final vote.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, Councilman Mills, did you have a comment you'd like to make? Even as moving on.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask with like, if we're going to do a work session or another work session for this, is it possible some way to have all, you know, like all players on the table, you know, right there at that meeting, because it's going to be a revolving door if we really don't have like solid answers from a developer. You know,
yeah, it sounded like from what I heard, we're going to speak to legal, and then we would have some answers from legal about their developments that they're doing already, if they're going to be grandfathered or not, as well as trying to insert our amendments, coming together, put our amendments in to push to another public hearing. And even if we don't do that public hearing, we'll move to another public hearing to discuss it and actually vote on it.
Yeah, because I mean that's a whole nother issue, you know, with the grandfathering in of you know, Pulte and Mr. Horns, who he's representing.
Yeah,
you know,
but that's what legal will let us know whether we have the authority, you know, whether they're grandfathered or not. I guess that's what the whole conversation with them would be. Them letting us know how to move on that. Right, but my question is the foundation of this agenda item is the trying to get a set number, you know, so that's why I was asking, is it possible to have a developer from either one of those, you know, organizations or someone else, you know, that does work or wish to do work in the city of Laurel to give us a developer's perspective, because they're in it for making money. They're business owners. We're coming from a different aspect, different avenue, you know, so we need, I just want to kind of assimilate the two. Sure. We'll reach out and get some solid information from them as we move this. And again, we can discuss it at the next public hearing and have that on record. All right. Thank you, sir. No problem. All right. Our next agenda item is agenda item number 7, introduction and first public hearing on resolution number 12-2025, a resolution of the mayor and city council of Laurel, Maryland to alter the membership of the City of Laurel Juneteenth Freedom Day celebration planning executive committee. We have the chief of staff, Crystal Hypolite. I hope I said it correct again. You have the floor.
Thank you, President Smith. Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. The Mayor is introducing an amendment to the Juneteenth Planning Committee. The proposal is to change the number of members from 12 to 7. The change will ensure that the committee is able to establish quorum and conduct business. Thank you for the favorable consideration of this amendment.
Do you have any comments from the council on this? All right. Councilwoman Clark.
Thank you, President Smith. I just took a moment to revisit and just review the resolution and the written documentation that was attached. I just have two recommendations. One, I noticed there isn't a mention of the budget allocation or funding sources in this write-up or the documents. Also, I just want to recommend ensuring or either adding language to ensure that the events, two things, that the events are all accessible to all residents regarding ADA compliance, language, accessibility, and transportation, but also recycling implemented into the events. Sometimes it's not for every event, and it would be great to see that for every event. And the third one is I didn't notice the meeting frequency and term lengths, which is usually included in the committee write-ups. And I saw in the resolution, it mentioned the officer positions such as chair and vice chair, but I didn't see it in the documentation that was attached as well. Those are my recommendations. Thank you.
Councilwoman Clark, please feel free to, if you can get them just in writing, just documented so we have that as well. So nothing is lost. I know we have
Absolutely.
meetings, minutes being made, but I'd like to make sure your words are taken exactly as is. All right. Any other comments from the council? No? All right. I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:52 and close it at 6:52 on this item. All right. And there being no further business to come before the council, this meeting is adjourned.